Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. India continues its diplomatic onslaught against Pakistan in the wake of the deadly Pahalgam terror attack that killed at least 26 people, mostly tourists in Jammu and Kashmir. After a series of strong measures aimed at the neighbouring country, India has now put a blanket ban on all imports from Pakistan shortly after the complete closure of all of the Wagah-Attari trade route, in a move that is expected to severely impact several Pakistani sectors. While bilateral trade between the two countries makes up for just 0.06% of India's total global trade, several Pakistani industries rely heavily on Indian imports such as pharmaceutical products, organic chemicals and more. Going a step further, India has now decided to plug all loopholes, allowing for Pakistani goods to enter the country by extending the ban to all goods originating in or exported from Pakistan, impacting backdoor channels in addition to direct trade with the country. Several Pakistani imports make their way into India through transshipment hubs in the UAE, Singapore and Colombo, which will now likely see the consequences of the new directive, with the halt likely to disrupt Pakistani's pharmaceutical, chemical and food sectors and informal trade via third-party countries, estimated to be about $10 billion being impacted. We now take a look at what this ban will cost Pakistan. Ambassador Ashwini Mukherjee, former diplomat, is joining us live. Yogendra Kapoor, senior economist, also is live with us. Dr. Jaideep Bhattacharya, President CDEPR, joins us live. Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, is also joining the broadcast live. Ambassador Mukherjee, let me begin with you first. What do you make of these big moves being taken to halt Pakistani trade? What will be the impact of these stringent directives issued by the Indian government?
Well, I would say that this is the second wave of measures. The first wave came particularly when we suspended the Indus Water Treaty, with all the consequences that the Pakistani state is now experiencing. This second wave of measures is intended to deliver a blow at Pakistan's faltering economy and to make it understand that terrorism within India perpetrated from outside its borders in Pakistan is going to be resulting in Pakistan paying a very heavy price for it, be it in its water management or water policy, its impact on Punjab's agriculture, and now its impact on a whole host of Pakistani industries, because when I was looking at the list of imports that they have been list of Indian imports that they have done directly or through friendly third-party channels, it is quite evident that they are very heavily dependent on us for many critical products. This is going to hit them very hard. It's going to be difficult for them in the charged atmosphere after President Trump's tariff war on the rest of the world to find easy substitutes. Perhaps, I do hope, Uday, that it would give the Pakistani deep state an opportunity to reflect on that it does not pay to do what they did, to kill civilians and then to try to shift the blame onto India. It doesn't work with us. It's not good for Pakistan. It's not good for Pakistan's people, and it is actually going to accelerate Pakistan's rapid descent into failed state status. These are measures which are being taken without any military action. That would, I presume, be the third slate of measures. But it is a good way for Pakistan to prepare itself for what is going to follow for this.
Yes, absolutely. Also, as far as, of course, now Yogendra Kapoor, these measures are concerned, just take us through what the current state of trade is of India and Pakistan. How much exports actually happen, how much imports happen, and are most of these direct, or do they take these indirect channels which have also now been clamped down upon, coming via third-party countries?
Right, Uday. Firstly, I would like to say that it is a step in the right direction by the government to neutralize Pakistan economically as well as diplomatically. So, regarding the trade that is taking place between India and Pakistan, I would say on official data, it is just a meager 5 crore Indian rupees of trade that is taking place. But the more worrying factor is that on the unofficial front, where basically the round tripping of things is actually taking place in the gray markets. The volume is expected to be somewhere around 83,000 crore. So one can understand the implications where the the concept of round tripping is taking place. Round tripping is basically the goods being imported or exported through a third country. So I think the need of the hour is that the government needs to take stringent actions and measures so far as the regulatory mechanism is concerned, so far as inter-country cooperation is concerned. Because, if at all the goods are coming into India or going out of India through third countries, let's say United Arab Emirates, or it could be Sri Lanka. So the point is the government needs to ensure that it is keeping right checks and balances in terms of the regulatory aspects also, and the cooperation between the two countries, because it is very important that if you have to hurt them, then you have to hurt them completely. And this concept of round tripping needs to, get neutralized as such.
Okay, let me in fact quickly take that to Dr. Jaideep Bhattacharya as well. Dr. Jaideep Bhattacharya, anyways, Pakistan's economy is in the doldrums. What kind of economic impact will these new moves by India have?
Very, very significant. As Yugandhar Kapoor and Ambassador Mukherjee mentioned, there are goods being manufactured or produced and then going to other ports and being relabeled from the country of origin perspective. So they're turned from a made in Pakistan to made in Oman or made in anywhere else, and then they're shipped back to India. And clearly, if India is able to clamp down upon it, which is actually not a very easy task to do, but if it's eventually able to clamp down on these round trip products from Pakistan, it's going to have significant impact on manufacturing and other products being created. Why I'm saying other products is also because a lot of agricultural products are also going through this round tripping manner and coming back to India. Now, if this level and this quantum of goods, which is estimated to about $10 billion, is stopped from coming into India, that's $10 billion of economic activity being stopped in Pakistan, which means that amount of livelihood gone, that amount of taxes obviously is gone, and that amount of wealth generation in Pakistan will be wiped out. Clearly, for a fragile economy such as Pakistan, which is already doddering, that's a huge impact. And it's a right way to move forward, because the whole intent of the Pakistani terrorist army was actually to instigate India into a military warfare, which will then take away people's attention from the failures of the army and their the army supported government into looking at an external aggression. It's a classic technique used, a large number of times. This is used even in space when there are astronauts stranded and the fight between each other. The remote location in India tries to create an external adversary to put them together. This is the classic technique being used by the failed state of Pakistan, by their terrorist military, and therefore instead of having a direct confrontation and to give them what they want on a platter, this is the right way to crush Pakistan and get them into a state where either they are balkanized or they behave as a responsible state in the Committee of Nations.
Okay, let me in fact also then go across to Gautam Mukherjee. Gautam, now this clearly shows it's a multi-pronged strategy being adopted by India. Of course, military action is being mulled over. That will eventually follow as well. But till then, these are multiple moves that are being taken in various domains, in various sectors to choke Pakistan.
Yes, it's a gradual ratcheting up of pressure, largely economic. They are running out of fuel, they're running out of ammunition, they're running out of food, they're running out of trade. They will have to lean more heavily on their all-weather friend China, and China itself is facing a lot of sanctions. It has been using other countries who are themselves under sanction. So it's becoming very complex, and yet, it is something that they possibly haven't grasped in full. They will in time. The thing with economic sanctions, and these are nothing less, is that, they start to bite little by little, and they think that they can do it, bypass it by going through third countries, but the costs go up. They have to pay upfront. It is going to get worse and more complex for them as they go along. And the port of Karachi is in all likelihood facing a blockade. We are moving around very close to the port of Karachi. They have a few ships on the outside as well. Our Navy is going to play a significant part in not letting in goods already. Their insurance to go to Karachi has gone up 3 or 4 times. The oil tankers are simply not going there anymore. Turkey's too far away to really make an impact. So is China for that matter, but China will try and assuage the problem insofar as they can. But things are getting, this is not what Pakistan anticipated. They thought we would go and attack them out of emotion. We may attack them and we will attack them. The Prime Minister reiterates that every 2 or 3 days. So I'm fairly sure that it will happen. But in the meantime, we're busy weakening them on every front. The FATF is being approached, the IMF, the World Bank, the Asian Bank. We hope to put pressure financially from the lending agencies as well. Uday.
Yes. Let me go back across to Ambassador Bhashpati Mukherjee as well. Ambassador Bhashpati Mukherjee, this is a multi-pronged strategy that is being undertaken by India. From of course the scrapping of the Indus Water Treaty to of course the diplomatic offensive with downgrading of their staff at their High Commission, to of course also the visas being cancelled, now this trade clampdown, no ships docking at our ports as well. It's a all-out strategy which of course is being followed against Pakistan. Do you believe there could be more such steps taken in the coming days as well in other sectors too, Ambassador Mukherjee?
I think the strategy that we have followed, as Gautam explained, and I agree with him, is a multi-pronged strategy to weaken them, to loosen them up, so to speak, for the actual military action when it comes. In other words, for instance, one crucial issue would be how much energy reserves do they have in the event of a war? How much food security do they have? How many spare parts do they have to be able to continue? How long can they continue a military offensive against India? Because it could be very well, Uday, that considering some of the very illogical, almost crazy statements emanating from their military brass, they could even try to have a military misadventure and say that we are the ones who created it. In other words, to say India attacked, whereas if you look at the history of India-Pak relations, they attacked us in 65, they attacked us in 71. Balakot was due to them, and Pahalgam was carefully planned out by them to strike a body blow at the reconciliation and normalization process of Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of India, and to try and to have communal riots in India and turn Indian against Indian by talking about the two-nation theory. So none of that has worked. So I think that this stretched out policy is getting on their nerves. It's putting them on edge. The Pakistan Army Chief has sent his family to London. Many of them are busy digging bunkers, I'm told. Good for them. They have a bunker-like mentality in any case, in my perspective. I think that this is a very good way to loosen them up. And as Gautam said, and I agree with him, there will be some military action because the country expects it. And the country expects it because for the first time in decades, they have gone in and just taken out civilians who have nothing to do with the conflict, who had just gone there as tourists. And they were picked up and butchered for their religion. So this is not something that India can swallow, and therefore some action is inevitable. When and how that will take place is something that our Prime Minister has left it to the armed forces to decide the best time and moment, etc. In the meantime, I do think, Uday, to answer your question, there will be more such measures. As far as a diplomatic relationship is concerned, in my perspective as a professional diplomat, there is nothing left in the relationship except breaking the relations. What is there left? There's nothing. There are no visas. There's no business. There's no discussion. There's no talk. There's nothing at all. So I think that the only thing left now is to break the diplomatic relationship, shut down the two high commissions, call everyone back on both sides, and and end it there. That hasn't yet come. That could very well come because we are moving inexorably towards a complete break in diplomatic relations. Uday.
Yes, and Yogendra Kapoor, can Pakistan really afford a war? Reportedly, they don't have ammunitions as well. They're struggling with those sort of warlike stores too. The economic costs of a war, the internal costs of a war, be it the inflation rate, be it other provisions that they have. Can they really afford? They may do all these jingoistic statements, but can they really afford a strike or a war?
The answer to that, Uday, is a clear no. The point is, I think it is like, even if they think of doing that kind of a misadventure, so they will be basically putting the country from a bad to a worse situation. I mean, if at all, they are already not in that worse situation already. I feel so that in terms of the current state in which Pakistan is, I think they just cannot think of going into a war, and I think it is only a kind of psychological statements that they are giving to just put the people of their country in that light that we are equipped to handle any kind of attacks, if at all, that takes place from the Indian side. Having said that, I also feel that going forward, I think the time has come where Pakistan needs to feel the hurt, which has not taken place in decades, apart from the Balakot attack. The point is that I think it is time that the people of Pakistan, they need to come out on the roads and stage protests against the army. And that is how I feel the pressure is going to build on that nation, that if at all they have to move forward with India, then they have to adopt the policy that they don't act as, a non-state actors.
Absolutely. It's time for, of course, their country to, come out and ask their, leadership to stop using war as a state policy. But Dr. Bhattacharya, as far as, of course, now, this multi-pronged approach is concerned, do you believe sometimes this is what works, more than a military offensive as well? Of course, military strike will follow. We leave that to our security establishment at the time and place of their choosing. But do you believe sometimes such an approach, be it the trade strike, be it the strike on mail, be it the strike on on their ships, be it the strike on their water as well, which will also eventually follow? Do you believe sometimes this kind of multi-pronged approach works far better in all-out attack on a country like Pakistan?
The purpose of a kinetic warfare and a non-kinetic warfare are slightly different in that sense. The kinetic warfare is more to demonstrate punitive action. It may not necessarily inflict anything significant. It's more to demonstrate that we are serious, that we as a nation will not tolerate any more of cross-border terrorism, of their military-sponsored terrorism. But when it comes to really making an impact, it's a non-kinetic warfare which has a significant impact in terms of changing the direction and course of a nation such as Pakistan. If you look at the amount of foreign exchange that they have less than 3 months of imports left. I think it's around 2 months that is left. So if the war starts off now, and as was mentioned by Gautam, that the Karachi port of Pakistan, which is their most critical port, because the Gwadar port is still not really working. So they got only 2 ports, Karachi and Gwadar. Gwadar is still not started off in full pace. So most of the exports are happening from Karachi. If that is blockaded, then they don't have much of a foreign exchange to earn from exports. What they can earn through air cargo is quite limited because there is very little high value production. It's essentially air cargo carries high value goods such as mobile phones and electronics and so on. So bulk goods are typically transported over ships which go from the ports. If that is blockaded, then there is no way that that Pakistan can earn any more foreign exchange. The only way they can get foreign exchange is through further loans, by selling their assets and so on and so forth, which obviously will be constrained in such circumstances, except from their all-weather friends such as Turkey, because even China does not come out and help financially when the time comes, as has been shown in multiple occasions in the past. So it'll be quite difficult for Pakistan to come out of this abyss. They were already in a bad situation, which is why their terrorist military started off what they did right now by having the terrorist action in Pahalgam. But that's not going to help them come out of the abyss that they are in. Now, with the last push that's coming in from the actions taken by India in terms of ensuring that round tripping of trade does not happen, the $10 billion of exports that Pakistan was doing does not happen. They've got total $15 billion of forex, just to put the perspective in terms of what $10 billion means for Pakistan. They have only $15 billion of foreign exchange in their kitty. So if they can't get $10 billion of foreign exchange coming in through exports, that's a very severe blow for them. And if they can't get the foreign exchange, they will not be able to pay for the bullets and for the missiles and everything else. And besides that, the food and the energy that Ambassador Mukherjee just mentioned. Also, please do keep in mind that while India is going ahead and doing the practice and firing live shells and live ammunition, you will see Pakistan is only firing videos. They're not really firing anything. The only missile they fired was one missile that they fired of so-called 450-kilometer range, but they're not firing anything else, which is the reason being that they do not have any ammunition to spend on practice firing. They are holding on that ammunition. So clearly they're in a very, very severely poor position. So the last push from India is going to be the final nail on the so-called Pakistan's coffin in that sense.
Absolutely. And, at the end of the day, of course, is that something that could follow, Gautam Mukherjee, that there could be, of course, further moves, further steps taken in different domains, different sectors. Interestingly, these are moves which haven't been done before. Despite what Pakistan has done to us, these are moves which haven't been done before.
Yeah, this is squeezing as much as is possible before we strike them. Now, we have also probably war-gamed it to the post-strike scenario. If they retaliate, we have everything in our power to invade their territory and refuse to vacate it. This is probably the next stage of the proceedings, which we will inform the whole world is going to happen if they try to retaliate. They may retaliate in a knee-jerk fashion to our military punitive strike when it comes. But if they do, then they open the door to being invaded, particularly in POK and Gilgit-Baltistan.
All right. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion. It's time for a very short break.